Hi, I'm Diane Krikora, CEO of Partner Path, and welcome to this week's Technology Channel videocast. With me, I have Charlene O'Hanlon on the other coast. Hi, Charlene.
Hi, Diane. How are you?
Good to be back in the hood, back home, and talking about our recent webinar, the 5 program policies that move the needle. So I just wanted to do a little recap with you because I know it was a fun webinar with Sandra Glazer-Cheek of Sienna, and I think that if we do a quick little recap, it'll be highly valuable.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you roll with it, and then I'll just jump in.
Yep. So just as an overview, I did a webinar with, as I said, Sandra Glazer-Cheek, who is the Vice President of Worldwide Channels and Alliances for Sienna. She just moved to Sienna from Brocade. So in the conversation, she got to use examples from her last 10 years of being in channels and running channel programs for guys like, again, Sienna, Brocade. She was at Extreme Networks and also VMware. So she got to, and Ruckus Wireless in there somewhere. That was part of the Brocade. So she got to really explain and give color to some of the data that we put forth. So there are 5 program policies that we're just going to talk about quickly this morning. That actually really create a better partner experience for your solution providers, which helps them engage better with you as vendors as well as drive sales. And the first one, which usually surprises people, that moves the needle the most, is around tech support and access to, and providing access to tech support resources for the partners.
Yeah, I think that one is really important. It's kind of like it's almost like an underlying infrastructure, right? You don't really think about it, but it's super important. And when you don't have it, that is when bad things start to happen. It's just having the ability to get in touch with a person when you have a technical support question obviously is frustrating for a lot of people, especially the consumers of us in the crowd. But can you just imagine what it's like for one of your channel partners if they're at a customer site, they have a very important question that they need to get answered ASAP, and they can't get in touch with somebody. To me, that would be one of the biggest turnoffs as a channel partner than pretty much anything else.
Right, considering they are, they're being the trusted advisor, right? And their feet are held to the fire to make sure that the solution works. And those access to tech support and how they get access to tech support. Do they get access to tech support like a customer does? So they kind of have to go through the whole queue. Do they have a direct line into tech support that's a partner line? Or do they have a guy in your tech support organization that they've built a relationship with, and they have starting to get a shorthand around questions and support needs for your joint customers? So that was certainly the number one thing that the partners indicated that really overall relationship. The second one is really tightly coupled with that, which is access to service and tools, right? And this is around professional services methodologies and how do the partners whose main profitability comes from services these days have access to those tools and methodologies that you guys as vendors use to implement and operate your products.
Right, and I think this is part of the larger mindset that a lot of vendors really have to start taking when it comes to their channel partners, because it's all about helping them succeed in the long run. So, how you treat your customers, or your channel partners, I should say, reflects a lot on with your end user customers. If you're not providing those tools to help your channel partners succeed, and we are talking services here, it's going to reflect poorly on your solution provider as that trusted advisor and as a representative of your company. I think, really it's going to be something that gains much more importance over the next 12 months or so, as we really see a lot more solution providers really become those solution providers and not just, fulfillment agents, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And with that is number 3, which to help them become these full solution providers and trusted advisors to those customers. And really, you guys have a joint customer between the solution provider and the vendor, and how do you make them satisfied and successful? So the third is training. And access to training is another big program element that really affects the overall partner's experience. And that may be technical training. And how do those two come together, right? Do you do a little technical training to be able to make those SCs successful, and then a little sales training so that they get a pipeline moving, and kind of the ability to continue to make sure that the partner is going to be successful at positioning your products correctly in the marketplace and to the customers?
Yeah, and the interesting thing about, those top 3 is that they really drive customer satisfaction, which at the end of the day is what you are looking for as a vendor, so the customer will keep coming back to your products and services in the future. And the solution provider is the main conduit for that. And if you're not paying attention to those 3 things that partners have said they're looking for from you as their vendor partner, it's time to really rethink your channel strategy, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. From those 3 really focusing on customer satisfaction, which is a whole nother conversation that you and I will have coming up soon. The next 2 really focus on how do you help your partners drive demand or at least get profitability from their sales. And so the 4th one is the deal registration policies as a program element. And those really do affect the partners based upon how much incentive they get. What are the kind of the details around? Is there a level of sales that the deal registration has to make, right? Is it a $10,000 sale for it to be registered? Or so a lot of those policies really do affect the partners, particularly the clearly communication of those policies.
Yeah, and especially as we are moving more to that services-led sale, it really becomes important that vendors work on maybe evolving their deal registration policies to reflect services as well, or maybe even make services the main component of that deal registration policy. I think we're definitely going to see as more channel partners jump feet first, if you will, and do kind of a services-led sale, you are going to see a lot more conflict with vendors in, who driving, who actually owns that customer, especially if the vendor partner has done some services for that customer in the past. So, it's there's going to be the question of, well, do you want to give up that customer to your solution provider in the name of eliminating channel conflict or reducing it, or how far do you want to take it, basically?
I think that certainly, and deal registration will be leveraged in services going forward as well as in product sales. So I think that's also one of the policies that we certainly talked about on the webinar. And last but not least is co-marketing, or we talk about it as MDF and co-op. So and kind of the policies around how do you help your partners drive marketing activities.
Yeah, Sandra actually brought up a really, really interesting thing to consider during the webinar, and that's the fact that so many vendor companies and so many companies in general have automated so many things in an effort to make things easier possibly for them, it's actually making lives more difficult for their channel partners, because they have to log on to different portals, and they have to do, jump through so many hoops just to get to the co-marketing dollars. And it's no longer for them a matter of picking up the phone or filling out a form. It's so much more complicated for that. And if there was a central repository or something like that, I'm sure it wouldn't be half as difficult as it is. But especially for partners who have multiple vendors that they work with on a regular basis,
which is all partners.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really made things a lot more difficult for them to really take advantage of co-marketing.
I think that's one of the areas that we'll see some use around machine learning and AI and some of the new digital technologies to be able to streamline co-marketing and activities with, particularly with partners, and help them generate kind of their own leads rather than expecting the vendors to continue to hand them leads.
Right, right.
Well, it's always a pleasure, Charlene. Great to see you. Thank you all for joining our weekly Technology Channel video cast, and we will see you next week. Thanks, Charlene.
Thanks, Diane. Take care.